Well, hi everyone, and welcome to another Title Tuesday. I hope you're all doing all right. I'm a little bit unsure whether I'm actually recording now or not. My microphone, so we'll find out later because I've been asked by chess.com to set up various cameras in my room and to share my screen to make sure that I'm not cheating after my excellent score last week, which I must say is very off-putting. I've got a camera behind me, camera there, and it's annoying to say the least. It's good that they got these cheat things in place, but for fuck's sake, it's quite clear I'm not cheating. Have you seen me play chess? Have you? Have you? At least like, you know, test someone who's good. Anyway, I'll stop moaning. We're in with the first game, and we got quite an interesting position here. I've got to focus, and we got a little black line on the go, where I'm going to try to come into f2 and put a bit of pressure. And I think this position's all right. One thing you've got to watch out for is when they try to squeeze you over here. And my opponent now is maybe getting ready to castle. Now, I think throwing a check in makes sense, because then he won't be able to castle. And can this queen also be in problems with some move like b5 at the right moment? If I play b5 now, what's my opponent going to do? Should we try it? Let's try b5. Maybe my opponent can sacrifice on b5 or something, but I should be safe enough if I castle kingside here. And against this move, well, I'm hoping my other knight can come in, but maybe I can be quite crafty and go a5 first and try to trap the queen with this idea. So let's try this move. And again, it's a very crazy position because my opponent can play h3. And now, okay, this move makes a lot of sense. We're trying to push forwards. And my opponent's queen is going to have to go to a2. But it's still a wild position because my bishop's not in a great square here. So if I go knight here, queen here, how do I continue? So I think I'm just going to get my bishop out of the way. And this is where my opponent can grab some space over on this area of the board. I'm drinking a miso soup today. A little bit of a change to the green tea. A little bit Japanese style. I'm watching a bit of Shogun on TV at the moment. So it kind of fits in with that. And right, what are we doing now? Should we just castle here? I guess castling is alright. I can also flick this knight in here first. And I've got to try to gain up a little bit more time on the clock. Maybe I can play around with my knights now and put a knight on e4. But I don't know if I want to castle at this moment in time. So let's put that in there because we're threatening some knight to g3 check. And I might also now have the f5 square like available for my other horsey to fly into. If my opponent takes this one, I'm going to have the a6 diagonal to come out here to check. So let's try this one. I just hope the audio is working on this because you have to set up like half an hour before you start playing. Various cameras, 2 cameras. And it's like, yeah, it's really good, guys, that you're doing this cheating thing. But it is, I have to say, very off-putting. When you're rushing to set anything up. That's because I'm a technophobe, though. I'm absolutely terrible at setting anything up technically, even though I've been doing this streaming malarkey for a long time. Okay, and still a very wild position. I think my opponent should try to embarrass my knight here, and one thing I've got to do is just speed up now at this moment in time, because I'm very bad when I got short of time. Okay, so we're getting some captures here. My opponent comes flying in. And let's flick the bishop out with a check and get castled here. Now, I'm not sure how much I like my position. It is just quite complex. This knight, very, very bad piece. It's like I'm a piece down. g4 must be a move to play. And my opponent trying to stabilize over here at the same time. So, not too keen on what's happening here. And I'm just going to try to get this knight back into the game and move a little bit quicker at this moment in time. So that knight, horrible over there. So we're just trying to re-centralize it at this moment in time. And do I want to swap off here? I think we're just going to keep the bishop on the board. I could have swapped off, but then my opponent's queen comes in. And now, how about we dive in here? 24 seconds left. So, yeah, speed is got to improve here. And we know how bad I am when I get short of time. But I think my position has improved. Look how good that knight has become. And now I've got ideas of taking here. But, again, I'm one of the worst bullet players you will probably ever meet. And, shit, my opponent's taking here. But this rook is on pre at the same time. It's a very complex position to work out with no time on the clock. But now that pawn seems to be making quite an impact there. So it's always nice to have two queens on the board. And as long as I don't blunder here, got to watch out for this one as well. Got to watch out for any ideas that my opponent might be trying to do. I am a rook up, so I should be doing okay. Right, so we go here because I've got to defend against knight takes there. And just got to play some sensible moves now. Oh my god, why am I getting so bad on time here? I'm just going to move this one. And why do I do that? That's a terrible move. Should have gone bishop b7 straight away. And I could have taken the rook as well. And still a bit messy, this position, you know? Still not a completely ideal situation. I'm just trying to get my bishop now to centralized square. Okay, this ending, well, it should be good for me, but it's very murky, even. As long as I can blockade these bits, but he's got loads of pawns coming through. And like I say, I'm so bad when I'm short of time. So I'm just trying to activate these guys as quickly as we can. And take that one, thank you. But what is this? What is this position here? I could have taken that pawn safely. Let's take that pawn next move. Okay. Well, we managed to win, but that was a pretty shit game. First round blues. Can only get better after that one. At least we start with a win. Very strong tournament situation playing today. You got Hikaru at the top. You got Magnus Carlsen. You got Duda spilling drinks all over my computer here, and you've got Den Laz, Faruja. But they're asking me to be a cheat detector today. Why didn't you ask? What I bet you. How many times do we reckon Magnus Carlsen has been asked to install various cameras around his room? Anyway, I'm just a little bit bitter because, you know, I like getting psyched up, like getting in the right frame of mood and not fiddling around. But we're in now, and can we beat our score of 8 points, which we got yesterday? I bloody hope so. Getting over 8 points would be fantastic. We give it a go. Anything around 8 points would be good to do. Obviously, 7 points I'll be quite happy with. But let's just see if we can get a roll going. I mean, normally what happens when I play these Title Tuesdays, I win the first round. I think I generally win the second round, and then I lose. And I normally start with something like 3 out of 4. So I just want to start with a big, juicy score today. So maybe like, you know, we start with like 4 out of 4 would be good. 5 out of 5. I did start with 5 out of 5 once before, so we can play a really big name. And that game, well, okay, I mean, let's have a look at that game, shall we? We'll just have a quick analyse. And obviously I'm winning in the final position because my king can start picking these up. But one thing I'm terrible at doing is getting under 30 seconds. So one of the reasons I did so well last week is play fucking quick, right? Don't mess around. Don't play like an old fart. Play quick. So we're going to have to bunk up the speed of our play. Now I expect I was doing quite badly at some point. But if we just have a look at what the computer says about some points in this game, well, we can see here, I mean, this check, I'm not sure it's right, but at least my opponent can't castle. Roughly even now, and here, well, the threat now is knight here and b4, trapping my opponent's queen. Anyway, we're in with a second game, so this is going to be a very hard game. We're playing, fucking hell, someone over 3,000. So, we're going to have to properly concentrate in this one. And let's start with my normal move, d4. I was going to play e4 more this time. And let's just throw Harry the H-pawn in. Oh, come on, baby. and he stops Harry straight away. So now I'm just going to put a knight on g5 because that is a hole that is newly created. So let's whack a knight there at some point. But first of all, I might change plans slightly. I'm going to stay flexible with my e-pawn. We're already out of theory, which is quite nice. I don't mind getting out of theory early on, just to avoid any, like, you know, real theory battles. And now I've got this decision where I put this pawn. I'm going to put it on the traditional square, which is here. And this would be normal. I'm just a little bit concerned about the queen coming out there, but I don't, or maybe b5 is more of a concern. I mean, we could also consider playing d6 here. That's the kind of move that only a crazy guy would play. Yes, I'm tempted. The thing, if I move my knight here, he can go b5, and that strikes me as actually something I might want to avoid. d6 though, it just feels a bit funny. And do we play c4? Well, I like putting the pawn on c3 in these positions. I'm spending way too much time, and I said I'm going to move quicker, but that's not happening. Maybe we even just go e3 so I can take there with a bishop. I'm just trying to think what kind of setup I want. And I'm kind of wanting to put my knight here, but I don't want to allow this b5 stuff. Okay, now I'm really not worried about sacrificing this pawn, but we also don't have to sacrifice it. Our bishop could be maybe okay on this square, because my opponent's queen's quite bad. Now let's use the placement of that queen, and I want to try to secure this square for my knight, bringing my knight around there. And on the other hand, my opponent's playing some normal moves, so let's just keep developing in standard fashion. Bishop e2 should be played at some point. I'll play it now, and it's quite interesting having a bishop on this square, but I've got to move a bit quicker now. Now, do I go for this knight g5 stuff? Well, then my opponent takes, and this pawn is quite dodgy. So we'll continue by playing normal moves. And my opponent is obviously getting ready to come over here. When I can come into this square, but it's not so clear, is it? So, bit of a weird position this. I mean, okay, so let's give the bishop a square out of this, because then my knight can come to a5 if it needs to. And my opponent has stepped away as well, and I'm just trying to think how I can get my pieces to the squares I want to get them to, because it's actually, this pawn is a little bit annoying, right? If I go queen here, it just seems like my pieces might be on slightly funny squares actually. So I'm trying to go e4, but now this move is something which scares me, of course. And is my queen going to be trapped as well? I'm not sure I like this anymore. Actually, this move just might be very good, right? Oh, yeah. Not playing... I haven't played this one well, because knight here and my queen is just trapped. Unfortunately, that just looks bad. I think I'm just losing here. I just got boggled here. And I saw this tactic coming, but just got my pieces on the wrong squares. My opponent played very well, but obviously this is just gone now already. I mean, we're playing a little bit, just because I need to chill out a little bit. And of course, resign. Okay, let's resign there. Okay, a pretty bad game. And I just want to have a look. Whereabouts went wrong. So again, we lost the game early on, as we usually do. And we've got to try to focus now to get the normal score of 3 out of 4. But I think the opening went okay. But it went... I mean, I just played some bad moves, didn't I? I didn't find the right setup. I kind of felt like e3 in hindsight is not the way to play. You play e3 and you're not really guarding the centre of the board. So let's just put it on analysis and go back to that point where I played e3. And the computer does recommend knight c3, but I was a little bit worried that my opponent might try this move. And I've had a bit of trouble with this move in the past. And funnily enough, now the computer gives d6. So I had the right idea, because if you take with a knight here, queen a5 check, knight e4 becomes a bit problematic. Well, hopefully they won't ask me to turn on all these computers and have many people checking me after that game. I have to go all the way through this with things going on. And this e3 move is wrong. Is d6 recommended? d6 seemed interesting, but okay, e3 is just too passive. But then knight here, and maybe I should just sacrifice this pawn, but moving the bishop to c3 also seemed quite valid. But I've just got a problem with this pawn now. I can't really find a good way to guard it. And as the computer says, I should go back to my idea of really playing knight g5, because then at least I have a bit of power when my opponent plays e6. So I can try to stop it, and I can try to maybe guard that pawn. And also, knight on g5, prepare e4. But my opponent's doing alright in that position. So we play a4, and that is really to try and cement a square on c4 here. And some normal moves being played here. And this is where I started to play, I think, wrong. I mean, should my knight even be going to the square? I'm not sure it should. My opponent plays now a very typical idea, and my pieces are just not well placed here. And you can see already my plan's gone wrong. And e3 would have been okay had I continued with knight g5, one of the first moves I was trying to get going there. So let's keep going a little bit. And as you can see, if the computer's recommending I play a move like e4 here, something has already gone a little bit wrong. So, okay, I castle, a6, and now the point is if b5, my knight can come into c6, and my opponent just steps out of the way of that. And this is where I need to be quite clever. And the computer even says I should just give up the pawn on d5. So knight here, bishop takes, queen takes. I thought my opponent could take there. Do I have something clever against that one? Well, I can't see it. So I was worried if I go knight here, the move I want to play, that my opponent will just do this. And I didn't see any real compensation for the pawn I sacrificed. The computer says I can now play f4, f5. And had I seen this, I might have gone for this because this is more my style. At least I'm attacking in this position. Anyway, we should be warmed up by now after this game. But queen d3 is a horrendous blunder. And I have to say, as soon as I saw this, because I want one more move. I want to play e4, right? If I can play e4, I have this square. But as soon as I saw this, I saw my opponent's clever idea. And knight d2 traps my queen. And now, well, my queen gets cleverly trapped by this knight move and this knight move. And it's annoying when you see the tactics, but you walk into it. And I think at this point, there's nothing I can do. And here, bishop takes f6 might be playable. But why is the computer only saying I'm like -3? Because I'm like whole queen down, right? Because I can take here and get some pawns. But I've kind of given up by this stage, to be honest. So really, my mistake was playing a little bit too passively with e3. This move I don't really like. It's a bit too passive. And then later on, my other mistake was not playing knight g5. So I should, around about this point, be playing knight g5. This is kind of the whole point of trying to force these two moves in, that you get control of this square. And I should just be playing knight g5. There's actually a tactic there that my opponent can come in, but do we believe that? Okay, maybe we do, but that gets very interesting. But at some point, the key thing is go knight g5 before your opponent can pin. And my opponent played pretty perfectly there. Okay, well, we got the setup now sorted. And so at least, I don't know, I mean, really, literally, I had to start the first game late because I couldn't work out if my microphone's working. I still don't know if my microphone is working or not. And but at least now we're just going to chill out and enjoy some games. So we can still get a very big score, but we're going to have to play a lot better than that. That was our first little dip in the road. So let's keep some faith. Someone said a very good comment, and you were very kind with my last title Tuesday. And someone left a very nice comment basically saying, well, but you know, why are you being so negative? You need to like play a bit more confidently and you do better. It's true, but as you get older and life fucks with you, it's kind of like, you know, you're like, and you know, you're watching all these chess players and you think, bloody hell, they're good. You know, it's a little bit, it gets a bit trickier occasionally, but I've still got a lot of faith in my chess ability when I get rolling. So we just need to get rolling somewhat. So let's try to get rolling now. And miso soup. Does anyone have miso soup? It's quite an interesting drink. I don't know how much of it I could drink. The salt content seems to be clogging up my artillery's artilleries, that's not what they're called, clogging up my bits and bobs as I go. Okay, so we need to win this game. Now, I'm going to play e4. I did have some fun with e4 last week, so let's now switch it up and play this move, e4. And I'm going to play the hillbilly because this is like my pet opening and it's quite fun. Now, I don't believe it's totally sound, as I've said, but it's a very dangerous gambit. It's especially dangerous in quicker chess. Now, maybe is e6 a good move here? I can't remember what black should be playing, but the idea of the hillbilly, and it is a really interesting gambit, is that you get loads of development. You get ideas of putting the bishop over on this square, and you make it a little bit tricky for opponent to get safe. Now, I think I've looked at this position before, but what should I do? Should I just castle? I think we're just castle for now. There's no dangerous knight jumps I can see. My queen can come back here. I think I have my queen coming back here, and I just want to see what my opponent puts my king. So I'm just continue developing. The general idea is to put the knight over here. But can we also play with some ideas like this? Knight here, h6. Can we bring the queen in is another idea. My opponent probably wants to castle this way. So how do we play this position? I mean, bishop here, also playable, but then at h6. Queen here, queen here, bishop f6. It feels like I should be moving my knight now. Knight here, but then I have to maybe worry about h6. I can't see a good follow-up move there. So I'm going to play just h3, because it's normally a useful move. And the idea is at some point, not now because the knight takes g4, but at some point we might have to move g4. You know, trying to trap this bishop. I'm going to have to get my queen out of dodge first. So, okay, so my opponent's playing a lot over here, stopping g4. But now I do have this square. Now, what piece do we put there? Do we put a knight there? Or then knight h7 I've got to watch out. I think we put a bishop here, right? I don't have to worry about h6. Standard developing move. Maybe my knight can come into e5 later on. Now, if I was black, I'd be trying to get castled this way. And after queen here, we may even have a4 ideas to try and nibble the queen. But my general idea, okay, so my opponent is making some exchanges here. Now, I think I probably have to swap off this one. I don't want to exchange queens, so we just centralize the queen. And maybe I can even try to come in on this square. But my opponent does, and maybe should, play g5, g4 now. That'd be very interesting. Here, queen into this square, and then g4, and then maybe then I have to move my. Well, it looks quite dangerous to me actually. This idea looks quite, and my opponent's played it. Fuck. Now I don't know. This move just seems a bit greedy now. Quick coming in. I kind of want to have knight here when my opponent plays that square. So if I come here, okay, I'm going to come here first because I don't want my opponent to take with the h pawn. So if I try to tempt my opponent's h-pawn to come in, and then he plays g4, he won't have h takes g4. So h4, queen here, g4, I can take. And the point is, when I take, there's not h takes anymore. So at least I keep the h-file closed. Okay, so my opponent is still trying to swap the queens off. Now, it's not so crazy to swap the queens off. But I think it's more fun to keep the queens on, right? So let's keep the queens on. And just try to centralize the pieces. Because my opponent's king is not entirely stable. Actually, maybe now castling kingside it becomes a lot more stable because this becomes an idea. We'll put a rook on e1 there. I mean, it's a very interesting position. It's only a pawn in it, so many things doable here. And my idea, okay, I'm going to put a rook here. We're going to try to play queen takes here. It just might gain a little tempo, but my opponent's also done a very good job of stabilizing. So, okay, so he plays this move, another good move. And g4's coming. It might well be me who wants to get the queens off soon. Yeah, I mean, where is my this is quite interesting play that my opponent's done here, and I don't actually see much compensation. This move is quite annoying. g4 always. Well, I'm going to have to play risky. We're going to try to but my opponent after g4 will now be opening up the g file, and this looks very scary with something coming into g3. I got rook here, but not sure I like this position. I mean, my opponent playing quickly and playing very natural moves here. And you can understand why. This is not particularly nice, is it? So how do we get anything going here? My opponent just threatening to bring the other rook in. So I'm going to try and at least guard the g3 square, but I'm on the back foot now quite severely. So my knight is at least guarding that square, but it's not pleasant. Knight can come here, for example, and he's going to win this pawn. And I don't know what my plan is here. This is the problem in this position. What is my plan here? I don't really see a plan at this moment in time. So we really need to up our game a little bit. And maybe the other knight can come in now. Yeah, this is a good move. And if I take knight f2, can I come in here at the end? Take, knight f2 takes, rook takes here. Don't know, don't like it. And where does my queen go? My queen doesn't really have any good squares. Okay, we'll try this one, but I think I'm just losing here. But I can't really see any other option. Just a way to complicate matters. And the queen's coming over here. I think it's the end. There's nothing to be done here. Okay, one last shot. But even you can even play queen g5 anyway. This doesn't help because the king comes over here. So it's game over, basically. So we're going to have to resign that one. So this is a very bad start. Not really with it this week. Has to be said. We'll keep playing a little bit because we can still get a bit of a run. We lost our first two, but it went very, very wrong. I can't focus. It's funny how, I don't know how you find this, but very little things when you're playing, they make a very big difference to the way you play. And my opponent, okay, he's doing all right, but this position is still very playable. And today I'm just not focusing. I need to focus better. And here, well, I mean, I shouldn't allow g5. It's just a bit slack to put my queen on that square, so maybe something like queen g3 would have been much more sensible. We go here. And now, well, it's still maybe okay, but I probably should. Okay, queen e5 is okay. Where did it start going wrong then? This is still alright. Knight takes h4 because we have rook takes f5. Rook ae1 is still one of the better moves. And now I should sort the queens off, which I kind of knew, but it just didn't seem very good. My opponent played really well. My opponent played really well in this game. I mean, let's have a look. His accuracy is going to be extremely high, I would say. You see the difference in my accuracy. This is my accuracy. This is the way that I'm playing this week. So we're going to have to change that. I need to... I'm getting angry now. This is what happened last week. I got angry. I'm only getting angry with myself. And maybe that will help me play. Fucking hell. That's annoying. Okay, so even my opponent's actually just bad chess so far. We're going to have to get out of the rot now and play. We've got 1 out of 3, so we'll get some easier pairings, but I'm only going to be happy now if I win like the next 5 games. So let's see if we can sort this shit out. And after g4, well, it's just a very smelly position, and my opponent is coming into g3. I can take this one, but it's so easy for black to play. I'm getting attacked on all files. And, well, around about here, it's not really anything I can do. I don't think I get any more chances, as we saw. So going back to the game review, I don't think I really had much of a chance. I was never better in this game. At this point here was my best try. Okay, but it wasn't really. And my opponent just found quite a good solution. This was the only point in the game where I'm better. My opponent has found a good solution to the hillbilly there. I mean, it's still very playable for white. As you can see, this position the computer still gives us even, but I didn't really get the fun positions that I normally get. So that was disappointing. Okay, well we're gonna have to play better. I mean, starting with 1 out of 3. Terrible start. Let's try to have some fun anyway, because I'm also sometimes you just don't want to be there. And I'm not gonna moan. I am moaning. I've been moaning since the start. fucking getting cameras set up around the bloody room. I don't even know if this is recorded, so I can probably say whatever I want. Be a bit controversial, but we won't dare do that in case it is recorded and it goes up on YouTube. I see in the comments section some of you asking, is this streamed? It's not actually streamed. At the moment, I'm just putting stuff on YouTube because it's not always about rage quitting these Title Tuesdays. It's just that I often, around this time on a Tuesday, which is like, I get called away by the cat. Now, that might sound crazy, but I've told you about the cat before. The cat is really ancient, senile, and it starts like screaming, wanting to go outside. So it kind of requires a lot of care, and it gets up around this time. So that's why I often stop the show. But I'm sure the cat will be all right this time. But saying that, I probably will rage quit if I lose another game. So we need to get a good run. So let's try to do a little bit of relaxation, move those shoulders, get the flowing going, get the power going, and let's see if we can play a good game now. So we're going to try to win the next 5. Anyone have faith? Anyone have faith? Come on! Who has faith? Anyone? Someone have more faith. Oh, okay. We've got a Dutch. Thank the Lord for the Dutch. And now we're playing this trendy system, which I think is what's going on here. What's happening? What's happened here? Why have I suddenly playing someone else? What the hell's going on? Why? And this guy's not even titled, right? What's happening? What is happening? Okay, now I'm going back here. Why am I playing another game? Oh, for fuck's sake. What is happening here? Why is that? What is going on? I don't want to see that. I want to go back to the other game. This is really... What? Oh, man. So why is it... I'm just getting fucked with by chess.com today, aren't I? I'm getting... Okay. I don't know why that... I don't know why it randomly... Why did it randomly start a game with someone who I didn't want to play there when I'm playing in Title Tuesday? I honestly just think it is just... I'm just getting fucked with today. But okay, everything that's putting me off is putting me off. It's a good test of mental stamina, which I've totally failed so far. Now, okay, let's just talk about the chess. Go back to this game. I've lost 30 seconds there. I don't know what was happening with that. Why was I playing another game? I didn't want to play another game, you motherfuckers. But I was, and let's just try to concentrate on not losing this one. Okay, so first of all, I have won a pawn. My opponent might have a little bit of play along here, but this is a very solid formation. And if I can get castled, which I'm only a couple of moves away from, I might be able to just consolidate this guy here. So my opponent should probably play something like this with a little bit of pressure. This is another way my opponent can play. And I'm hoping I can cover this square with like Queen D6. Got to watch out for sacrifices. Got to watch out for Knight E4. But this looks like the most logical move. Now I'm hoping Queen D6 works. But I'm now spotting that the Knight can come here, which should be slightly annoying. So I can go Queen C8. Maybe Queen C8 is better. Or I can even go Rook here, but then H7 drops. So we won't do that. So Queen D6, Knight here. I don't like the look of, so we have to be a little bit careful here. So I'm going to go Queen C8. And if a check, we have to go G6. And we just got to stop this queen coming in. Now, I'd love to get the queens off, so we'll put the queen on F5. And if I can just get my rook over here, I'll be very happy. It is an extra pawn after all, so it just requires a little bit of careful defending here. And I don't think my opponent has any good squares to the queen. He's got to watch out for a bishop G5. The queen comes here, I'll put a rook to E8. And this bishop G5 is quite annoying because we have these two diagonals. And if he swaps queens, well, I've just got a very nice pawn advantage. So he's trying to play with the knight coming to G3, but everything's under control so far. I've got the H pawn I can use as well. Now this check I'm not too concerned about. I mean, we could even come here, but then F3 happens. So are we going to allow this check, or do we... Okay, let's flick in a check first, just to try and stop the knight coming here. And we'll go this way with the pawn. I like getting a pawn to h4, and now his knight can't come to f4 anymore. So we've just taken away this square. We've tempted our opponent to take a square. And now also f3 is not an issue. So we can try to use this open file that we have. If the check, I'll just come back. Nothing to worry about there. He's got another problem he has to worry about, which is the bishop coming over to h4 at the same time. And we're just going to try to pile up with the rook coming to e8. I can actually see people on the Zoom in my line of vision, so I'll just get out of my way. I'm going to try to put a rook here. This position looks pretty horrible for him now. So we're going to start our roll of 5 wins out of 5 now, okay? Let's do it, boys and girls. Don't really want to lose this pawn, so do we do it 1 square or 2? I'll just do it 1 square, because he's still got this major problem with the e file and being a pawn down, and this kind of pawn mass can come up. So here we go. And of course he wants to play here. Now, do we have any way to immediately try to win this? Like, our bishop can come into f2. That looks quite interesting. I can't see a good solution for him. Because f2, we hit the rook and we threaten to take here. So we're using the bishop. This check also could be good. And also it gives our pawns a little bit more defense here. So we might as well create a big threat. And the only way I can see dealing with that is rook f3. But even then, our bishop might better swing around. c5 is quite a nice square. Come here. And he's very passive after rook f3. He's kind of in a position of zugzwang. He can't move too much in that position. I can grab a pawn there, of course, which I've only just seen as well. And his time is low. So it's very tricky. Like, for example, a5, bishop here. And we're not just going to win the exchange. We're going to take the rook and take the knight. Now, if he takes my bishop, I don't take the rook. If he takes my bishop, I take here. And this move just seems to be a bit of a killer. There's no rush. I'll just take that pawn. And we're going to now swap off a pair of rooks. So, or shall we mate him? Whoa! Ah, we're gonna win a rook and checkmate him at the same time. That is one. Come on, let me be sexy. Or do we just go here and be delicate? Should we take a rook and checkmate? Oh, he's resigned. I was gonna offer a draw there. You know what I should have done? I was actually very tempting to offer a draw in this position and see if he had time to take the draw before I could go rook takes rook checkmate. I've done that before. I'm going to do that in the next game because I'm in a weird mood today. I'm in a weird mood. Where is the draw button? So we want to offer him a draw before we have checkmate in one move. So if we ever get to that situation before, we will flick in a draw offer and then we will checkmate. But obviously rook takes b3 is checkmate in this position. But he did not let me put that on the board. So that was a better game, I think. I don't know what was happening at the start of that game. It was very confusing. But probably in the 80s there, so we're getting a little bit better as we go on. And we okay, look at that. That is why they've got the cheat detection on me, because of pieces of magic like that. Oh my god, I better start playing badly again, otherwise I'm going to be banned from chess.com for life. But that's more like it. That was quite smooth. Look at it. We're going nicely down our way. So okay, but that was a good game. Now we can have a little look at the opening, because I've had this opening many times before, and this d3 move, just so I mean, like, I love playing f5 against the Reti. I think it's a really good way to play, because most players of the white pieces, they play very passively. They have no soul, like a couple of gingers I know, famous South Park. And they play like g3, bishop g2, c4, d3. And by the time like you've woken up, they're doing some little small things over here. But the great thing about the Dutch is you're like, okay, play your stupidly wet stuff where you're trying to make me fall asleep. And you just get on with checkmating them. So I love playing against Soretti. Now after d3, knight to c6 is a good move. I used to play d6, but you really want to play e5. And Magnus Carlsen made this variation quite popular for white. And after this move, you know what I think is the best move for white here? I actually think d4 is maybe the best move. And the weird thing about this position, it's now transposed into the Vienna. And the Vienna, and this is where it's going to like trip you out a little bit. Put your LSD hat on. We flip the board around. How do we do that? Must be a way we flip the board. And the Vienna is where you go e4, e5, and now you play knight c3, and it's recommended that black plays knight f6, and when you play f4, they play d5. And this is the same position that you get with black. Yeah? So it's quite trippy. So this position after d4, oh, yeah, is the same position, yet the board's the other way around. So this is basically the Vienna. So you just got to know a little bit about the Vienna there. But knight c3, this is one of the recommended ways that white plays by now going for d4. But I've checked this with computer analysis, and this is still recommended as being a good idea for white. But after bishop takes c2, I think black's just doing quite well here. And I can never remember the right way to proceed. But it's worth taking this pawn, because if white ever puts the king over there, the white king is more exposed. And, you know, black has to be careful in some lines. I actually think if bishop takes here, you probably take with a queen here. You're not worried about giving this pawn back if you can get castled. I'm not completely believing in the chess.com stuff here. You should check this on a higher computer. Obviously, if you're going to play this line, which is quite sharp, any opening is going to be some sharp lines involved, and you need to basically have good knowledge, you know, of those sharp lines. But normally in any opening, there's not too many lines to learn as well. So anyway, let's have a look. So this position just looked pretty good for me. My opponent could, of course, throw in the h-pawn is good, but did he have any chances later on? Because I have to admit, I did get a little bit worried around about here. Because obviously, if he gets the queen into this square, it's quite scary. And the point is queen d6, knight e4, because I want to go queen d6 because it covers everything, and it's a nice central square for the queen, but knight e4 is really strong. So this is actually maybe better because I gain a tempo, and maybe my opponent shouldn't check. Maybe the check just helps me. And around about here, well, I think now he's probably just lost, but he's probably also like he can't really make it complicated, which is good for me. So there's no obvious way he can like, you know, complicate the position here, because I think he's got to exchange queens. All these lines he's exchanging queens, and we're just a pawn up, but our bishop is quite nice here as well. It's quite simple. These pawns at some point will come down the board. I mean, I hate that expression where it's just a matter of technique. Have you heard that load of bollocks before? You know, I used to get these books by Grandmasters when I was trying to improve, and it just said in the book, it's just a matter of technique. And I'm like, that is just a cop-out, isn't it? I mean, like, what does that mean? And winning one positions, it's all right if you're like a Grandmaster, but one of the biggest mistakes that I think a lot of you probably watching here will make is you get a good position. How do you win good positions? It's not easy. I mean, I throw them away a lot, as you see when I'm playing, but you've got to, the most important thing is not relax. The second important thing is not to start playing in a different manner. Play in a good manner. Make exchanges where you can. Simplify you can. Try to be willing to give the material back to get the initiative. All these little tactics. And remember, your opponent's probably a bit more desperate, so you can play with that in mind. Let him play some crazy ideas. If he's going to play normally, great. So, you know, just don't relax. Because I find when I'm like, oh, I've got a winning position, that's when it kind of goes to shit. You know, I'm like, okay, I've got a winning position. I can relax. You can't relax in chess. It's a fucking hard game. Now, at the top, we have, okay, so I'm out. Okay, I need to get my next 4 wins in. I'm only going to be happy if I win the next 4 games after my pretty appalling start. So we've got Fair Playing Chess at the top, Donachenko, and maybe there's still some games going on. No. So where's, okay, Hikaru's on 4 out of 4. I saw that Magnus Carlsen was playing. Whereas okay, Magnus has dropped a draw. Okay, Denz Lazaric has dropped a draw. And we got our normal players, about 600 players playing. And yeah, I mean, we don't need to go through the list and just showing who's who of great players. There's many great players in the tournament. So we're now, what are we on? We're on 2 out of 4. Okay, so we need to, so like I say, I always break this tournament up into 3 different sections. The first 4 rounds, which I've done pretty badly at, 50%. The next 4 rounds, so we get to round 8. So if I can win the next 4, come on, get it into the mind, win the next 4, we will be happy there, obviously. And we're now, that last game gave me a bit more confidence. I think I'm a bit more relaxed now. You know, it's probably because I've like stopped smoking as well. I mean, I say I've stopped smoking. I've smoked cigarettes basically since the age of like 15, and I'm like 44 now. And I've basically stopped smoking, but I do like generally meet, I generally go down to the pub like once a week, and I do have a couple of cigarettes down there. But there's some times when only a smoker would know. It's like you do have the temptation. They say giving up smoking is harder than giving up heroin, but you know it's good for you, isn't it? Smoking's a real fucker, disgusting habit. It really is. Really is horrible. But anyway, so that's probably why I'm sometimes I just need a big smoke, shall we say. Right, okay, come on, let's get on with the next game. We want to get rolling now. Now we're in. When's the match between Jospem and Kramnik? And who do you think's gonna do what in that match? So Jospem is playing against Vladimir Kramnik over the board, because Kramnik has famously said that Jospem is cheating. So the idea is that Jospem can't cheat when they play over the board, and I think Jospem's going to win that match. Kramnik obviously a great blitz player, but it does depend a bit on the time limit. I think Jospem uses the time to his advantage a lot. So the longer the blitz, the more Kramnik's chances of winning that are. I think at 3-1, it should be 3-1, right? The same time limit that they play in Title Tuesday. Because Kramnik's accused him of cheating in Title Tuesday, so why don't they play the same time limit they play in Title Tuesday? That would make sense to do that, but we'll have to wait and see. And Jospem, though, I've seen him play with the board. He's really quick. He's really tricky. So I'm actually going to say, because he's so tricky and he's so tactical, it's going to be quite hard for Kramnik to deal with. But we'll have to wait and see. Right, now I'm going to stick with E4. We had that disastrous game in the Hillbilly, but we're going to try again. We're playing an FM from Russia, and we're going to play this little system. If you see my last couple of YouTube videos, you'll be aware of this little move that I'm playing. I guess you can call it the British Grand Prix, but you're basically getting a classical Dutch with colours reversed. And this is the other way to play. Last week we saw my opponent play here, and this way of playing makes a lot of sense. I'm just trying to remember what we're supposed to do now. And I'm not that worried about the exchange of queens, because as you've seen in the Dutch, we get these 2 nice pawns. And I'm just going to bring my knight now either to c2 to defend d4, or possibly in here. I'm going to keep the queens on the board because I like playing with queens. It gives us more tactical chances. So I'm just getting out of the way of this idea. And now let's bring the knight back. And it's a pretty standard position. I expect, like, black can be quite happy with the way it's gone as well. Maybe I'm just going to tempt the idea of playing b4 here. I was hoping he'd play this exchange because, again, when you stabilise these pawns, I think that white has a slight advantage, and I know this from the classical Dutch, basically. Now, I'd like to put my knight here, but this pawn's on pre. So we're going to push Harry. Let's just try to create some little issues with Harry, the h-pawn. Gives us a little bit of stuff to nibble on that side of the board. Maybe my knight even wants to come back this way. Often it comes into the d6 square, so you can try travelling like this into d6. But the other way you can go is here, but of course I've got to watch out for this. So my opponent's stopped that, but I've got access to this square. He hasn't got access to this square, so maybe I should take this square straight away with my knight. Why not? Because also it allows my rook to guard this, and my knight can come here. But maybe g4. Ooh. It's a bit risky because I'm opening my position up, but do we go here first? Maybe we shouldn't rush this g4 move, but I'm very tempted because he can come in with the rook to d3, something like this. So okay, let's go. Then okay, let's try to improve this one. Where am I going with this knight? Well, maybe we're going this way with the knight. We're just trying to send the pieces over there, and the other way is this way, right? So we've got two ideas. Also, f5 is a tempter, but I don't like the idea of his queen having this diagonal. So he's really trying to come in and swap the queens off here, which makes a lot of sense for him. Now f5 takes. Okay, fuck it. Let's go f5. I'm doing it because we also have the threat of f6, and it looks like the most interesting move. And I also noticed that h5 is on pre if he does g takes. So we're doing this before he gets a chance to exchange queens. f5 is the normal kind of break you play in the Dutch. I mean, I could have gone knight c4. We could have played it a bit more calmly, but this makes a lot of sense, right? But now he's defending this move, so maybe he should be bringing his knight over to g4 here. Okay, my knight covers that, so it's not too worrying. Quite a wild position. I expect the black is doing okay here, but at least we have some pressure. This threat maybe come into f2, but if I take here, let's watch out for the rook on g1. And maybe knight c4 is my main move, because again, if he swaps queens, he loses control of f6. So knight here, his queen moves, then f6 becomes playable. Now this move we can take and play f6. Do we just take here even and come here? Then okay, I don't know, but I take and then put. Okay, I'm gonna take here. Let's do that. And if queen takes, we okay. But now knight here looks good, right? At least we win some material. Yeah, okay, let's go for that. He can come here and bishop f5. Maybe queen here, take here, bishop f5, take here, check. I have to be a bit careful there. This check here. So, okay, well, he's gone passive, so this is much nicer. I think we can take. And obviously he's now threatening this, and he's got the pins, so we'll step out of the way. He seems to have a bit of compensation here somehow. It's normally the case. I mean, queen, when your opponent loses material, but I'm not sure I like this actually. It's a little bit compensation. I mean, I'm just still thinking about this rook. It's a bit annoying. This move's quite annoying actually. Maybe he takes my rook first. I mean, I don't really want to put my rook here. And this move here, bishop comes in. Yeah, this is annoying. I could go knight here, and then queen c2. Okay, we'll go here. Bishop e5. We have queen f3. We want to swap queens off because I'm hitting the knight here. So it should be. I mean, it should be an ending now. And ending again. It's like I say. How do you convert advantages? Okay, but now here, where does his queen go? Where does his queen go? I can't see where his queen goes. He has nowhere to go. Now he has to go for this, but my knight can come back and it can guard here. And we're going to take this one with check. So I think that is the end. Okay, so we might as well take this one. We have knight f3, just got to stop this one move. And let's play knight f3 because we stop this one. And there we go. So that's the second one out of 5. Who's got the faith? We just need to win 3 more. Yeah? Get the roll going. 3 more. Can we do 3 more? Maybe. I don't think that was a great game, but at least you saw some common-ish ideas with this setup. You know, it's a nice sort of easy setup to play. And as you can see, you can play. You can have a look at my chessboard course if you want to learn it more. Now, game review. Let's have a little look. So we need to win the next 3 to stay happy. Game review. We're going 85. I think it's fair, but also if you look at that graph, I think that showed you that it was a pretty good game. actually. Maybe better than 85 because I'm never worse. That's the kind of graph you want to see. Okay, I'm kind of equal. And maybe I let some of my advantage slip around here. But I think I'm always in control. I let it slip a little bit, but okay, it's not so bad. And let's just have a look at some of the key moments in the analysis here. So, oh, what am I doing here? No, we want to, oh no, we'll just put it on this analysis. So, so this is basically, there's two different setups that black plays normally. If you want to play this reverse Dutch setup, you have to know two things. The first thing you have to know is the setup with d6, knight f6 and castles. And we looked at that last week, and the way you play against that is to swing your queen over here and try to play for checkmate. The other setup is where your opponent puts the knight on e7. I think this is a better setup for black, where the knight goes to e7. Because it makes, in my eyes, more sense. But even in these positions, I really feel I like having these pawns because you have these more ideas. You're playing on the king side in the center. Your opponent's playing on the queen side over on this area of the board. Now, I did play here. What else can you do here? What other ideas do you have? The move I want to play, actually, is bishop e3. And I quite like putting the bishop all the way around to h4 because it's not a great piece. But this is a nice square. But you've got to watch out for d4. So what I don't want to do in these kind of positions is allow my opponent to put a piece on this square. So for example here, he can keep a piece on this square. And this position I don't like because he's got hold on d4. I've got a weak pawn on d3. So what you want to play, what I wanted to do, and this is, I mean, every little idea I play has a point, is I want to control this square one more time. And generally now, I would play bishop e3, because then if he plays d4, well, he's not going to lose the pawn here, but he can't keep a piece on this square, right? He has to take with a pawn. And when he takes to the pawn, this is a much more advantageous positional structure, because this pawn gets in the way of his queen, this d3 pawn's not so weak anymore, and this kind of structure I quite like for white, because we can now start attacking on the king side, right? Bring these guys around over here. So that is another way that I'm thinking of playing. But this rook b1 has the idea of pushing, and it's strange that the computer thinks black's better. But as we see, he should have played bishop d3. That would have been a much better idea. So rook b1 is not a very good move, actually. But when he takes here, yet again, I'm very comfortable, and I actually think my advantage is more than what the computer says here, because it's much easier for me to play. And the idea of going h4 is just to try and create some weaknesses over here. You know, I can use this pawn, I can take here, it gives me some kingside play. And now I have this square, so unlike, remember that game I lost? I got these two moves in, and I didn't put my knight on g5 as quickly as I could. So at least now, in this game, I'm trying to learn from that, and I'm trying to put my knight quickly on g5. And here, well, unbelievably, the computer does say g4 is the best move. Look at this. I'm actually getting quite wet in my old age. I thought g4 was tempting, but I got a little bit worried about him doing some probably nonsense with this. And I was kind of looking at this position, and the one thing I saw is if he goes here, he goes here. And I was like, whoa, Williams, don't do that. Okay, anyway, we're in with the next game. So what do we got to do? We've got to win the next 3 to get our run of 5 out of 5. So come on, we've got to go aggressive here. Let's go with another Dutch, and we're gonna try. Oh, okay, we got the Dutch in. We got Grandmaster. Where's he from? What's his? We don't know who it is. We'll have a look later on. And will he play the normal g3 move or go for a dim setup? Now bishop b4 is probably a better move here, because now he can swap plans. I think queen c2 is a good idea, but okay, we'll play. He's got possibilities. Now we're back into the system that I like the best. I'm going to play my main recommendation. Nearly everyone plays this, and I think already black is equal, because I'm going to get e5 in. He can't stop me playing this move. For example, bishop f6 and e5 will come. If d5, I can give up this pawn. I've had this before, and now, if only I could remember more. Okay, maybe we don't get e5. This is quite an interesting position, but I'm going to get my queen out the way because I want to play e5. And my opponent playing quickly. Maybe this is some new preparation that he's done. But if he takes here, I can still think about playing e5. But he's going to get g4 in. So I haven't got e5 in. So he has managed to stop me. But my pieces seem to be pretty okay here. I mean, like, I've got a good knight, a good bishop, so I haven't got my normal e5 move in. And you should be able to see now just how similar this kind of stuff is to the last game I had. And I'm not worried about him taking here because I'm going to have a bishop coming to g4. Again, I really don't mind giving up pawns, and he's got to watch out for knight coming here. So obviously he's a Grandmaster, his understanding is pretty good, and he hasn't done that. But now he's got to watch out, and he's playing very quickly. But he's got to watch out for, first of all, bishop takes here and knight here. So is there some problem he has with this idea? Also, this one I'd like to play in some way. He's playing very quickly, this guy. Very quick player. But I think this is okay, right? Let's just connect the rooks, and this bishop a4 is now something to consider. I mean, obviously I can bring the rook into the middle as well. But bishop a4, my main idea here. Yep. Now if we come in, he can try to get a draw, but let's just see what he does against this move. Because a lot of players don't want to draw against someone as crap as me. Otherwise, I'll come back with a queen. Okay, he has some respect for the GM. Okay, but we're not going to have a draw. Clearly, I doubt he'll have a draw anyway. He won't have a draw. Why'd you play Title Tuesday to draw? It's not drawing Tuesday. So it's kind of like we're double bluffing each other. Okay, bastard. Okay, where do we put the queen now? Here. So he has kicked my. Okay, we'll put it here. It looks a bit more active. It's still got this idea. We're still trying to play for the win, of course. And now that knight is too strong. I need to eliminate that knight. And how do we play this position? This move, he takes the queen. Knight here, he comes in. A4 is the normal move to play in this position. But then knight here. Okay, let's play A4. Let's not overthink it. I was just wondering what I'm going to do against this. Okay, now I... Okay, let's go in. Now here takes. I'd love to give up my queen here. Okay, can we sacrifice something? I really want to give. Okay, I'm gonna play with instinct. Now here, I want to play this move. Bishop takes. Then some bishop d. So bishop takes. I want to play something like bishop d4, but bishop. Is this just bluff? Bishop takes here. What am I playing? Am I just playing with bluff here? It felt natural, but I haven't calculated. I'm the kind of patzer who just does some. Okay, so I can go here, and then he goes queen here. Bishop d4. I kind of like bluffing, aren't I? But my pieces are good here. So I've given up quite a lot of material, but the immediate threat is on here. And if he takes here, f3 drops. So he can move the king. If he moves the king here... Okay, he's moved the king. It's even this kind of move now. Really want to take here, though. Then play this. Getting quite trippy now. Time is ticking. I really want to take this one. Knight here. No, my clock is... Okay, let's go here. Too slow. There's so many interesting possibilities here. I'm taking too... Come on. You're going to win this game. 3 out of 3. I need to look at the position. So I've sacrificed to push his queen offside here. What's I going to do here? This one, yeah? Didn't expect him to play that one. So that threw me a little bit. This pawn very dangerous, but I've got my own pawn. Fuck, he gets... H7, quite weak on the dart squares. Do I keep queens on? Check! Check! There we go. That's more like it. So 2 more wins to go. We're getting the roll going, boys and girls. Lovely jubbly. That was an interesting little sacrifice there, no? Very, very interesting game. Actually, very interesting. I probably had something much stronger than that. But it seemed like allowing his queen to come over here made quite a lot of logical sense. So let's just put it on the game review and we'll see. I mean, I don't think it's very high. And you can see, look at this. Look at that all over the shop. What did I miss here? So there was a major win there. But for most of the game, you can see I'm doing very, very well. And what did we miss here? Bishop e4. I could just take it. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. I just totally missed this one. This is what happens when I told you. When I get under 30 seconds... I'm just like, I'm such a patzer. Okay, but let's have a look at some of the key points here. And the opening, well, okay, maybe, okay, this is wrong. So what should I play here? I'm going to look at it here because I can actually see the suggestions. It's a little bit easier. So I you know, I mean, obviously, I have looked at this position before after this sequence of moves, but again, memory is not always easy. And actually, you can play Queen H5. That's beautiful. Oh, that's a much nicer idea. Well, the idea is sacrificing to get my bishop straight into the action, right? So, Queen to H5 makes a lot more sense. And that is a really nice idea. So, you go Queen H5, and you're trying to say, well, okay, have my pawn, because now all my pieces are beautiful. I think the way I played it was all right. And around about here, I was actually quite happy with my position. I got a good bishop. This knight is very troublesome. And one of the main ideas in the Dutch is to swing this queen over. And the queen comes over. But again, the computer finds another great possibility. I can go f4 here. This is the move I want to play. I don't want to play it when he can take with a piece. But of course, he can't take with a piece because I go bishop takes b2. And I attack his queen. I attack his rook. So queen at h5 is logical. A3, knight A6, and again, this is a really nice square for my knight. But there's one moment I wanted to check, and the moment I wanted to check was in a minute. So it was around about here. So this is where I start giving up pawns. So the idea is I want to get his queen off this because I'm always trying to push this pawn in the Dutch, and I'm always trying to get my pieces working. Now, unbelievably, my move is the third choice. It's the only piece not doing anything, so we bring it towards the center. And now, okay, well, let's, I mean, it's very interesting. If we get a chance, we'll go back to one, but we've got to win the next 2 games now to get to 5 out of 5. So this is going to be a really tough one. We're going to go back to e4. We're playing probably a Russian player. And let's see if we can have a bit more luck with this. Because if I win the next 2, is it 2? I'll be on 6 out of 8. And we're in with a big score again then. So we've got to win the next 2 now. So we're playing a FIDE master, Roman Yanchenko. And I'm going to play this wing gambit again. Because this is a really fun way to play. Now, I don't like the move d4. Ah, fucking hell, you play d4. The only move I don't like them playing. And I'm never really sure what to do here, I have to say. I haven't looked this one up. I'm out of my theory on move 4. What a numpty. Okay, I'm going to go here because I'm going to try to get the c4 square for my knight. So why not? And let's put the knight on this square. Makes some sense, right? Okay, now hopefully he goes bishop d7, knight there, checkmate. Okay, he didn't. Bastard. And at least now I got a nice knight. So this position is probably alright. Now, where does my bishop go? I kind of feel like my bishop... Yeah, I thought this was a good idea. Now, I want to maintain this one because this blocks his knight from coming out. So this is probably alright. I think I could probably want to... But then knight f4 comes. But if I go here, my bishop's very bad. And also, if I play here, his knight comes in. But if I go bishop here, his knight comes here. So... This is quite a little bit annoying, right? So what do we do here? Can we play knight? Oh, no. Fuck me. I was going to go there and just queen just takes it. Unbelievable. H4? I mean, I don't like this move G3. It feels weird, but I don't like it. Okay, I can't see any other option. I think we have to put the bishop here. I have to stop his knight coming to f4. It's the only way to play. To stop the knight coming here. Now, I can still go here, but I think we go back to more traditional routes. And now here, knight c3. So queen here. Got to be a bit careful, haven't I? Alright, let's castle. I'm squinting my eyes because there's quite a lot going on. Now, bishop b2. I just got to stop this knight coming in. Now, do we also come in? I mean, bishop b2 is not... It's not a very good square for my bishop, but it holds up his play over here. Maybe I can go rook a1. So, it's kind of like a move. Okay. I'm going to play h4. I'm going to just play h4. Why not? I'm going to play a bit quicker now. This guy's quite quick. We're going to use this pawn to try and do stuff over here. Maybe knight g5 comes. I'll probably play d3 soon. He can maybe take this one, but I've got a solid sort of structure now. Rook a1 I was thinking about playing, but after here, I couldn't see what I'm doing. I don't really want to bring his queen in here. So maybe he should... He can't bring his queen in. So I think I've got things controlled on the queen side. So this is why I'm going for the king side here. Okay, so trying to grab this pawn. Good move. I can go knight d6 at this moment in time. Am I worried about this? It stops me playing this move, which is the most annoying. Knight d6 takes knight e8. Here, I don't really see. My bishop's on a bad square, isn't it? Play here. Takes to... Okay, I'm going to play this. I'm just going to go with my instinct a little bit. He does win a pawn. But I'm hoping to get some kingside action. I'm not sure how I'm getting kingside action at the moment. But it will start with knight f4 now because he's moved into a tempo. And now we have to play queen g4 ideas, right? And I'm getting short time as well. This bishop might need to come round, but I need more pieces in the attack here. This is the problem. My monitor said it's going to bloody turn off there. Come on, turn back on. Thank you. Okay. He wants to kick me away, but then my knight comes round. Okay, so I have to go here. I've got to defend this one. Bishop here, rook in. Oh, moving too slow. Moving too slow. I'm moving backwards as well. I mean, come on. Here doesn't look right. This pawn is too weak though. Okay. Moving too slow. Okay, let's go here. We're all in soon. Yeah. Man, why not? Too slow. Too slow. And I haven't got enough pieces. He's defending very well. And how am I bringing any more pieces into the attack? Just keep throwing them in, yeah? Oh, I'm just trying to... I'm throwing him in like Billy-O. Here we go! Now what? Now what the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? No! Oh, no, okay. Yeah. We lost that one. Yeah, that was bad. That was annoying. It was an annoying little... annoying. I didn't really get any chances there, did I? No. I again, a little bit caught out in the opening there, which is annoying. And my opponent played very well, as you can see from the graph. And there's one chance around here where I started to really go the wrong way after that, and I was never had enough. So I was doing okay here. So let's go to the point where Bishop B2's played and see what's going on. And I'll tell you what, I really hope at least after this week they won't ask me to do these anti-cheat measures again, because what you can see, I have 3 screens for streaming, and what you can actually see is faces on one of the screens. You can see them looking, and you can see like the screen flashing. It's a little bit off-putting, to be honest. But I am moaning. Look at this. Look at the typical moan. It's not my fault. It's everyone else's fault. It's my fault. My opponent played well in this game. I didn't, but. You gotta have you gotta have an excuse. If you don't have an excuse, well, what you doing in life? Make sure you got an excuse. And this is where I started to flick this up, right? And I didn't really get any attack. I probably should start playing over here. So what should I do? So I should play Rook A1. This is what I should do. Just take a bit of control on that side of the board. So instinctively, I wasn't too off. And my opponent at this point on, I have to say, he played very, very well, right? Because this was a great idea, because I need this bishop ready to attack, and this was such a class move actually, because if he doesn't do that, let's say I can ever get my bishop to e4, it can be very dangerous. So I think a lot of people here would have played some other move. I don't know what. Let's just say rook here, and all of a sudden, you know, maybe with some knight move, I don't even know where. Even back here, my bishop can start. It's another piece pointing at him, and I just know, maybe not there because knight f4 is good, actually, but it's the general principle, of course, not the individual tactics. And the way the game went, well, he wins this pawn, and there's not really any way to attack just with these 3 bits. I kind of tried to get my bishop around. We tried some kind of crazy ideas there at the end. I try to get my knight around, so I'm bringing every piece towards his king. I couldn't think of anything else except for this, because for me, I've got seconds left. I should, of course, do something a bit more sensible, but there's nothing really working here. And yeah, I just don't really have a chance. I'm still trying to bring pieces around, but they're biting at thin air, and now this is just too strong. My last idea was, of course, to come in here, but you know, he just calmly comes here, and obviously with 9 seconds left, it's impossible to find the right move here. So we took here, and that is yeah. really, there's nothing happening. There's no way to stop there. So, good game for my opponent. I didn't get 5 out of 5, so that's a bit disappointing. I need to win my last game, all of my last games now, to match my score from last week. So, a bit unlikely. We'll try. We'll try that. Of course, we'll play a little bit more. We've had 7 rounds. We had a bit of a good run, but it's also been a bit disappointing this week. But that's life, isn't it? If you're if you like Hikaru Nakamura and you're always riding on a high, it'd get a bit boring, wouldn't it? It'd be like, I just won another title Tuesday. It'd be like his wife would be like, what are you doing, Hikaru? What are you doing? What are you doing tomorrow? I'm just going to win another title Tuesday. And his wife's probably like, Hikaru, you're so boring. You're so boring, Hikaru. You're just going to win another title Tuesday. Can't you do something different with your life? Like lose a title Tuesday? Wouldn't that be better? You know? Actually, it'd be fucking excellent, wouldn't it? I'll just win another title Tuesday. I'll just beat all the best players in the world. Whoa! There we go again.